Welcome once again to your update from the city of New Hope. And as always, we're happy to be joined by the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Hello, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. It's a nice sunny day today.
Yes, good to have you with us here. Love the flowers there in the background. The poinsettia is surviving well in your home.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the things happening in the city. And one of the latest big updates was from West Metro Fire Rescue District. They had a lot of information to pass along to the city. You wanted to highlight a little bit about engines. Tell us what we need to know this day about fire engines.
Well, for those that don't know, West Metro is actually a combination of Crystal and New Hope. We joined together a few years ago to be one fire department. We have actually 3 stations. And at those 3 stations, we have a total of 4 fire engines plus the big ladder truck. Well, those fire engines are getting older and they need to be replaced. And so the fire chief came up with this idea of leasing fire engines rather than buying them. And so we looked at that and it looked like it would be a cost savings to do that. So we just put out bids for one of the engines, the oldest one, to sell that. We sold that, or we've got a pending sale for that. Mm-hmm. So that one's going to be sold, and then we'll lease another one to put in there. So I think it's going to work out quite nicely, and it's cheaper and it's easier, and they don't have to maintain the engines so much.
Very good. We'll keep people up to date on that. More education for you here as you're watching. Franchise fees. Give us a little 1, 2, 3 about what franchise fees are and how they're used within the city of New Hope and who they come from.
Well, CenterPoint Energy and Xcel Energy, if you look at your bill, there's a small amount on their bill that says franchise fees. Well, those franchise fees are collected every month, and then they are given back to the city to the tune of $213,000 in 2021. So $110,000 of that is going to the street infrastructure fund. That's that fund so that you don't have to pay assessment when you have your street fixed in front of your house. And the rest of that money will then go into the general fund just for running the city purposes.
Let's move along to another happening in the city of New Hope that goes on somewhat behind the scenes, and it's the Bassett Creek Watershed Management Commission. And there's been some movement here on people representing the fine city. Give us that update.
Well, Bassett Creek Watershed is really a coalition of a bunch of cities, and they follow Bassett Creek and the watershed, the water that goes into that creek. Well, we've had representatives on that for years. Well, our representative, we got a new one, Jerry Gwynn-Length, and so he will be on there. But the guy that we had as the alternate is leaving us, Pat Crow. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be advertising for a new alternate to the Bassett Creek Watershed. Well, of course, around Northwood Lake, there'll be some people looking at being on that. But if anybody's interested, they certainly can go online and to commissions and sign up. They meet once a month at 8:30, and it's virtual meetings, so you'll be able to go online and do it virtually if you're interested in that. So please, if it's something you're interested in, please sign up.
All right, place to find that information, city's website, newhopemn.gov. The city likes to keep in touch with residents through surveys, and I understand another survey will be coming up. Give us that information.
They do. Well, the city does a city survey every year, and we compile those results. But in 2015, we decided that we really wanted to do a professional survey every 5 years. So we did one in 2015. Here comes 2020 and COVID. Mm-hmm. And we thought that didn't make sense to do a citywide survey with COVID going on. So we kind of put it off for 2 years. Morris Letterman is the company that we hire, and they pick people by random, and they'll ask them either by phone or by mail some questions, and we get some information back. They ask a different sort of question than they do when we do the city survey. The reason we do this, we really want to know what people are thinking, how they feel about the city, what we can change, what they would like us to do differently. So they're really important. If you are chosen to answer the Letterman survey, please do.
Okay, let's move ahead to scattered site housing. A lot to update residents on here. Following a number of properties, the first is at 42nd and Boone, the former Treehouse site. What is happening there?
Well, as you know, Treehouse moved over in Plymouth because they were serving the same kids, and they thought that was a better facility for them. And the house they were at 42nd and Boone really is not adequate for what their needs. So the city is making a purchase agreement. The attorneys have written up that purchase agreement, and that will be discussed with the council, and then they'll proceed on with buying that property.
Few other properties to update on where work is almost done and being completed very quickly. Aquila and Pennsylvania. Tell us about those two.
Well, the one on Aquila, that's the one that had the fire. They think that'll be done in May, and we already have a signed purchase agreement on that. Now, when I say we, I don't mean the city. I mean the developer has a purchase agreement on that.
Sure.
City doesn't build houses. We contract that out to a developer. And then the one in Pennsylvania, that one should be done in May, and we don't have a purchase agreement on that one yet.
And finally, the property on 53rd and Rhode Island, a lot of activity happening there. What is the latest?
Well, that one's going to be demolished. We sent out bids, and we'll get those back this week. And then we look at that for the demolition of that house. And once those bids come back in and we give the contract to a demolition company, they'll tear that down. They did do some training there from West Metro. I don't know if they're going to continue and do some more or do some police training there before they tear it down. But if you happen to see fire trucks or police department there, that's what's happening. They're doing training.
Good to know. Let's take a minute and talk about businesses within the city of New Hope and some business conversation. The first is the Business Networking Group. When and where will they meet next?
They're going to meet at Pocket Square. That's where the old Mountain Mud used to be, and they'll be meeting on the 2nd of March at 3 o'clock. You'll hear a little bit about the company called Fairweather Design. He's the person that's hosting it. And then you will also get a little tour of Pocket Square. They moved it to 3 o'clock thinking that maybe some of the people there might want to taste the goodies from Pocket Square. So as you know, Pocket Square is a distillery. It's the only one we have in New Hope. So if we can't do that meeting virtually. So if you're interested, you have to show up in person.
Very good. Business fabric, very important to the city. And there's a few new businesses to add to that list. Tell us about some of the new businesses and places for residents to shop.
Well, there's a place called Screen and Metrics. And what they're doing is they will repair door, window, porch screens. They repair them. And then there's another one called Boost Mobile, where they'll be selling cell phones. So you can go online and see where both of those are, and please support them if you can. And the other one is Redmond's Popcorn. Now they're back in business. As of today, they're at Cinema Grill. They'll be open from noon to 4. I don't know if they're going to be open all week. You can go online and look at that, or you can also go onto the city's website, and they should be there to see too. But Cinema Grill is on Winnetka, right off of Medicine Lake Road on the west side. So go down and see. They've got the best popcorn.
Fantastic to hear that story continue in such a great way. Let's move to the police department. A few updates there. The first is use of force training. We have the second half of the staff involved in this. Tell us about that.
We do. Well, of course, you can't send all your officers to training at once. So they all have to have that use of force training every year. So the first half went last week. The second half is going this week, and they'll complete that training. And then they actually get quizzed on it. So we make sure that they're paying attention to the training.
A few other great ways that the police are engaging with the community. The first is through bingo, Mayor. We've got some bingo calling happening.
We do at the Lodge in New Hope. The community service officer has been calling bingo at the Lodge. Now, I'm not sure, but it looks like he's having as much fun as the bingo players are.
I can imagine.
He keeps doing that, and they love having him there.
Good for him.
And then we've got one of our new officers delivering Meals on Wheels this week. So that's kind of exciting.
Very, very good. All right, let's move to Public Works. A number of things happening here. Perfect time of the year to do some tree trimming, but these are some of the trouble trees, the emerald ash borer trees. Tell us how that's going.
Well, they're actually taking them down. They won't take an ash tree out of your yard, by the way. Okay. But if it is on the boulevard, they'll take that, and a lot of times they're letting the resident choose a tree to have it replaced. Well, of course, you don't replace trees in the winter time, so you'll get a list and you can pick a tree up. But those are coming down. And they're also, this is kind of exciting, they're assembling new benches to be put up in the spring. So honestly, this winter isn't going to last much longer, I'm sure. I
think that is the case, and it proves even more true in Park and Rec. Let's talk about Park and Rec. They're looking for some great employees to help out.
Well, they are. They're recruiting now for the summer session, not just at the pool, but everywhere. We need kids or people running the mowers and cleaning up the golf course and doing all that. So if you're looking for a nice summer job outside, come to New Hope.
Website is newhopemn.gov. You can find the applications there as well. Let's talk about a park project. We mentioned it a few times, Hidden Valley Park. Things are happening there and they want some residents' input. What is this process?
They do. We always, when we redo the park equipment, we always ask the residents to come in, and we ask them to bring their children because they're picking out the park equipment. So on the 23rd of February at 6 o'clock, they're having a meeting, and this meeting will be held at the fire station in New Hope. They're not really sure how many people are going to be there, but they want to make sure that people can distance if they want to. And so at that meeting, they'll show Landscapes Incorporated will come in and show what kind of equipment that we'll be able to buy with the amount of money that's been set aside for that park equipment. And the residents will pick out the equipment that they want. Landscapes then will do a design, and then we'll meet again in March. Residents will look at the design, and at that time they'll pick out the colors they want, and that's the equipment that'll go in. So if you've got kids in the neighborhood and you want a say in the equipment, bring the kids along. The meeting lasts about an hour, and there's room for the kids to move around. So it'll just be a fun thing. And the kids will be able to see the inside of the fire station.
Yeah, neat opportunity. Let's talk about warming houses. The ice still may be skatable outside, but unfortunately, no warming houses anymore as the weather changes.
No, the 21st of February, the warming house is closed.
Okay.
Which, again, another sign of spring.
Right.
But the ice rinks will still be open. I think they'll continue to plow them. They probably won't add much more water to them just because of how things are going. But you can still go skate. You just can't do it and get warm.
Understand. A couple of the fine facilities in the city. Want to give you an update. First is the golf course. Again, a lot going on behind the scenes, but a lot of residents using the inside of that golf building. How are they using it?
Oh, well, last week they did a Valentine luncheon inside the building, and there's a celebration of life coming this week there. So if you're interested in renting that, the inside is available to rent until the golf season starts. And then after the golf season starts, the back patio is available. There's tables out there, lots of room to people to spread out. There's grills. That's a wonderful place to have a graduation party. You don't have to clean, and it's just like all there, but it fills up very, very quickly.
Sure.
So if you've got a graduate coming and you're interested, call the golf course, or you can call City Hall, and they'll send you over to the golf course by phone, and you can make arrangements to rent that.
And not too early to start thinking about leagues as well. So material soon coming out from the golf course about leagues and other opportunities for the golf season.
Well, I'm waiting with bated breath. Mine isn't here yet.
I bet.
Typically, when my foursome gets together, we get ours. We all go over there and we sign up and have a hot dog.
Nice.
And
I like it.
Mark makes us a hot dog and a bag of chips, and we sign up for golf. So you should, if you were on the leagues last year, you should be getting that probably the end of the February, first part of March, and get yourself signed up for the league again.
Very good. How about over at the ice arena? Lots of activity happening there. What's a mix of some of the things going on?
Well, the boys are playing one of their games. The high school boys are playing. The girls' high school is wrapping up. Youth hockey, of course, still keeps playing. And then the dryland training, that keeps going on. So it's a pretty busy place. Open skating on Fridays and Sundays, but I always warn people, call first because you never know. And then the skate lessons are happening Saturday morning and Monday evenings. So there's lots of stuff going on at our ice arena all the time.
Yeah, great opportunities. You mentioned the jobs a little bit earlier, but let's mention it one more time. The Aquatic Park, that will be here before we know it as well. And they are looking for employees right now.
Oh, they are. So I think they've sent out the letters for the employees that they had last year.
Okay.
And of course, they don't get them all back, so they're always looking for more. So if that's a job you're interested in, or any of the jobs, the summer jobs in New Hope, the application should all be online. You go to the website, fill that out, send it in, and then somebody will get in touch with you.
All right. One more blast of winter thought here would be something that's going on in the city in conjunction with Three Rivers Park District, an opportunity to get out and explore the snow and maybe do some things you haven't done before. How does this work?
Well, Three Rivers Park District, and we don't have a Three Rivers Park in New Hope, but we do a lot of stuff with them. On the 26th of February, they're calling it Free Play Snow Day, and that's the 26th of February. So they'll be lending out for free cross-country skis, snowshoes. You can get a discount on tubing, just all of the stuff that's going on. They'll have fire pits and s'mores being served. So either go on to Three Rivers Park site, and I think that website's going to be on the screen, and it'll give you a little more information on where these activities are taking place. And most of them are free. There's a small charge for like the tubing and those activities.
Sounds very fun. Final couple notes. You're seeing a lot of information about this in the city through social media. We wanted to mention a couple things. Door-to-door solicitation. What do we need to know about that type of opportunity in the city of New Hope, and what residents can and can't do?
Well, a few years ago, we wanted all of our door-to-door solicitors to register. They don't pay a fee, but why we wanted them registered, we want to know who they are and where they're operating. And so they're required to carry that registration fee or paper with them. Okay. If you get a door-to-door salesman, you can ask them for that. If they don't have it, tell them to go away, because they do need that, and they know they need that. The other part is, if they're coming to the door and you don't want to buy anything, and you tell them and they're kind of harassing you, just simply shut the door and call 911.
Okay.
You don't have to put up with any of that. And that's one of the reasons for the registration, because we want to know who that person is or who that company is, and we don't want them bugging our residents. The other thing you can do, if you don't want any door-to-door salesmen solicitations, just put a sign on your door, no solicitations.
Okay.
And they're not allowed to ring your doorbell and go to your door.
All right. Good information to know. Final note, bulky waste curbside cleanup, something I know a lot of residents will cheer about, that it's coming back once again. What is this? When does it happen?
It is coming back once again. The dates are March 28th to April 6th. And now people are saying, oh my goodness, I don't want to put my stuff out all that time. So they can go online to our website under bulky waste and get the dates that the truck will be in their particular neighborhood.
Okay.
So then put the stuff out. There's also some new requirements. We've had times when people were putting other people's stuff out. When you have, 14 mattresses and 6 stoves, that didn't all come out of your house.
Right.
And so because our residents actually pay for this in their water bills, they get a fee for that. We don't want to be collecting other people's junk. So they're putting a limit on how many pieces of furniture you can have, how many mattresses, how many big appliances. We want to be able to take your junk. We just don't want you to be taking, we don't want to be taking everybody else's junk.
Understood.
So go online and see what it is and what the restrictions are and what day they're going to be in your neighborhood, and then get that junk out there.
What a great service. All right. The website right there on the bottom of the screen, newhopemn.gov. You can find out about that process coming up soon and many of the other things happening in the city. Mayor, thank you once again for your time today, and we'll look forward to talk to you again next week.
Thank you, Dave. I'll be here. Bye-bye.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.